Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review the supernatural horror film, Pernicious.
Pernicious was written and directed by James Cullen Bressack. It stars Ciara Hanna, Emily O'Brien, and Jackie Moore. This film is about 3 Americans who travel to Thailand to volunteer and teach children. They take up residence in a house with a golden statue. One of the girls disturbs a spirit, unleashing a supernatural force. So what do we like?
This took place entirely in Thailand and was shot entirely in Thailand. I just really liked all the architecture, like all the buildings. We see like old temples and just like old big homes that we're not used to seeing. It was really cool to see a different locale than we're used to.
I especially loved the setting of the house that the girls are staying at, just because it had a real like creepy feel to it, between like the statues, the furniture, and all the sheets over top of everything. It just set the mood right away. I also loved the overall style of this film. I mean, playing off the idea of the setting in the house and what was taking place, it had Asian horror written all over it. I grew up with those, and I kind of liked seeing this still present in today's film.
I liked the jump scares. They are usually quite cliched, but it's nice to find a movie that can still do it and give you that little start. It's just good filmmaking to be able to still do that after this amount of time.
I really liked the gore and the special effects. There's a few torture scenes that will actually make you cringe because they're so realistic and so well done. I don't often commend the Foley effects in movies, but these actually sounded amazing and so realistic. I felt every single knife going into somebody. All of the sound effects were just amazing. I think in general our cast was pretty solid.
Their character development and the way they delivered lines back and forth, it had that serious tone to it, but at times it gave you that comedic feel with how they were over the top with some of their reactions. It kept you engaged with what they were looking at, and at the same time you felt the suspense when they were dealing with certain issues.
So let's move on to our dislikes. Like John said earlier, this film took a lot of influence from the Asian type of horror films, and I felt that it was too much. A lot of the story seemed to be very much like The Grudge, and some of the scares were very much like The Ring. It didn't seem to be that well put together story-wise. Everything seemed to happen very quickly and with no subtlety.
I did find some of the decision-making was very impromptu. Oh, there's a little girl, let's chase her down the streets. It's decisions that you would normally not make when it's your first time in Thailand.
The girls did play well off of each other, but I felt like they didn't have very much to say to each other. The dialogue seemed just kind of childish. Like, this is what somebody thinks that teenage girls might say to each other. It didn't seem very authentic.
Well, I thought most of the cinematography was pretty solid, especially throughout the house and the establishing shots. And in general, the cinematography was a little more shaky than I thought it would be. So I don't know if that had to do with what equipment he could bring over to Thailand or what those filmmakers had to work with. But I will note that this is a screener, and so they may have corrected some of the issues that we're talking about right now.
I really felt that the lighting in this film could have been executed better. A lot of the rooms were too well lit to give you that type of suspense or like spine-chilling thriller.
I thought we had a little too many amulets. I just felt like amulets was just used because it's like, oh, this is the thing that they use in horror movies, so here, have an amulet, have a talisman.
It could have been anything, though.
Yes, it could have been like, oh, make sure you keep this lucky coin in your pocket, it's gold.
Yeah.
Made of the same gold that the girl is covered in.
That would have been cool. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings.
I like Pernicious. I thought it was a really fun film. It wasn't too intense, but it did have a lot of jump scares. It was pretty entertaining. I thought it was shot well, I thought it sounded great, and the gore was fantastic. So I'm going to give this 3.7 elephants drinking water like a boss out of 5.
I enjoyed Pernicious. I'm a big fan of the paranormal genre. I really liked how they delivered the jump scares because they had the classic cliches and they had some really cool different ones that had me guessing. The torture scenes showed us great practical effects, and overall, it was just an enjoyable film. There was a few things with the cinematography and the lighting that I didn't really care for, and some things in the development of the story did fall flat, but other than that, I really enjoyed it. So that being said, I'm gonna give this 3 dragon purses out of 5.
I thought Pernicious had potential. It started off well, but it fell into too many of the old cliches. The genre mixing of kind of like the torture and the supernatural was good, but I felt overall that the acting wasn't very strong and some of the dialogue felt really corny. The effects were really good though, so that being said, I'm gonna give it 2.5 fish bowls of booze out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your favorite James Cullen Bressack film. And if you've seen the film, let us know your thoughts. If you haven't, check it out on June 19th on VOD, and it also has a limited theatrical run. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to stay updated with everything we're doing here on Bloodbath and beyond.